viewers across the globe, welcome to today's show. On the show today, we've got our esteemed guest, Masimba Marangwanda, a young entrepreneur and a business person. Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kembo. Hello, viewers.
Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, tell us when and how did you get involved with business?
Thanks for the question. I started business many years ago when I was fairly young, still in high school. That's when I got the interest when I started to do commerce. I started to understand business very easily, reading newspapers and going through school. And on holidays, we always used to find ways of trying to make money, trying to understand how business was. So I started business very, very young. Fell in love with how business is run, how business people think. Fell into the entrepreneur trap, and that's pretty much how I started.
Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, World.Longden, the company that you are currently involved with. Tell us briefly about the company, its products, and the market.
Okay, so World.Longden Steel is a family-owned business. We are the first steel company in Zimbabwe to be ISO certified, something we're very proud of. We are into reinforcement steel, so we have a fabrication, reinforcement and fabrication business. So our market is mainly in Zimbabwe right now. We are venturing into the region, into Mozambique. We've registered in Mozambique. We are looking at Botswana as a potential new market for us. So that is who we are and what we do.
The government has complained about a huge import bill, yet your company is there. Would you say the people are not aware of your products, or there is lack of confidence in terms of the product?
Okay, that's a good question. So with the market that we are in, where previously we had Zisco was a manufacturer of product, and when Zisco closed, a lot of the market turned to imports because there was no substitution. These imports obviously increased, which led to the government saying, we're now importing a lot of product. For us who are value addition companies, we would go and buy from the manufacturer, being Zisco, and break bulk and add value. Of late, what we've been able to do is that to get product from a local manufacturer who meets the country's standards right now, and this has helped us reduce the import bill for the product. We've equally been able to educate the market to say that the market is now producing quality spec, which helps from a pricing point for our clients as well as lead times for delivery, which has been good for projects. It's been good for our clients in general in terms of them saving a lot of time and money. So to speak to the question that you say, our company in particular has been looking to also partner with local mills, and we are very happy that this is what's now happening.
Mr. Marangwanda, a lot of entrepreneurs would tell you that they face challenges in terms of initial startup capital. What would be your response when it comes to initial startup capital? Okay,
that question is every entrepreneur's nightmare, right? How do you fund the startup of a great idea or just an idea? My philosophy and principle is that do not think that banks are there to fund startups. Banks are risk averse. So for the entrepreneur, the challenge is always, where do you get seed capital? How do you start to turn your idea into a valuable enterprise, into something that provides solutions? This is the challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs. I feel our market is still very immature in terms of understanding the funding aspects for entrepreneurs and especially for startups, right? Because like you're saying, there are a lot of great ideas out there in the market, but very few solutions on how they can fund this. Personally, we don't know enough venture capitalists in our market who are willing to come and say this is our mainstay. We are here to fund startups with great ideas. We feel that also there's a need for government to come and educate entrepreneurs on the support structures that are there. We obviously have the Empowerment Bank, which is a potential to help entrepreneurs start, but they are also hamstrung by the rules and regulations of any other bank under the RBZ. So for entrepreneurs, we tend to now start looking at our own pockets, looking at peers or family members. So we look at our peers and family members to help us to fund our startups, right? Which becomes equally as difficult because risk is still risk. I think we now need to move into a more mature market that speaks about funding of entrepreneurs. We need more funders to come out and say we are willing to invest, from businesses to venture capitalists, and even banks to say, we are willing to relax certain rules to help entrepreneurs.
Viewers, we've come to the end of our first segment. Stay tuned, we'll be back very soon. Viewers, welcome back to the second segment of our Entrepreneurship Couch show, where we're talking to Mr. Masimba Marangwanda. Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, you are one of the young executives we have invited to the show. What would you attribute to your quick rise within the corporate ladder?
Thanks for that question. I wouldn't call it quick rise, but I'm glad you're the one who's seen the rise. So as far as I'm concerned, I always work within a structure when you start a business. Business is all about principle. Okay. When you start as an entrepreneur and you're running a business, we always want to enjoy the fruits really quickly, but we forget that the important thing is to make your business sustainable. As you're growing a business in sustainability and investing in a solution for your clients, this is what helps you to grow. This is what shows the value of what you're trying to do. These are the principles that are very important that, as a person that I am right now, I believe in. Take your time, grow it slowly. Eventually you'll get where you need to go. And when you're doing that, remember, you don't work in a vacuum. You work in a space where other people see what you are trying to do. And that rise is not an individual rise. The rise of a brand, the rise of a business, the rise of an individual is always structured around people who give support. Your clients give support, your stakeholders give support. So for an entrepreneur, this is what's very, very important. Always have a principle, stick to that principle, and see it through. Eventually your fruits will be paid.
Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, we are having a show where we are talking to other entrepreneurs. How would other entrepreneurs benefit from your own experience? You've got a lot of other entrepreneurs who are struggling. What sort of information would you want to share with them? The practices, issues that they need to avoid, and issues that they need to do to make sure that their businesses continue to grow.
Okay, that's quite the loaded question. For entrepreneurs, and from my own personal experience, they need to understand something that's always very important. Zimbabwe in particular is not a textbook country where everything is stagnant and you can plan your entrepreneurship journey. Entrepreneurship is an evolution, and it's never an easy journey when you start walking through it. When we start with a great idea, we always feel like you get really excited from your idea and you feel like tomorrow it will take off. There's always a saying that a business needs to survive the first 5 years. And what that means is that your journey in those first 5 years is very difficult. It's very strenuous. For entrepreneurs locally, we need to start the conversation where we need to give support to other small entrepreneurs. This is something that I've always said, that when you're on social media, you see the different entrepreneurs who are succeeding. But the thing is that they show the success. They never speak about the journey towards that success. And this is what we need to start talking about. To say to younger entrepreneurs, I've met 1 or 2 entrepreneurs who are 21. Good ideas. To tell them that this journey is very difficult. There are moments when you have to continuously give before you can even get. And in this country that we're in, the challenges are even greater. The things that you need to be aware of that are so sensitive to how your business will survive are more than right next door. To start bringing up the other entrepreneurs, the ones who are also starting up. Sometimes all they just need is advice. Someone just needs help with the business plan to make it bankable. Something that if you take 1 or 2 hours out of your day, we can invest in the next entrepreneur. This is when we need to open our DMs in social media. We need to open our space to have a conversation to other entrepreneurs to say, we are here to support, we are here to help. The journey is not as treacherous as they think. If I can make it, if the next person can make it, you can make it. Because at the end of the day, the underlying thing is, are you providing a solution the market wants? And this, in my view, is what we need to do, to invest in the next entrepreneur, so that they also invest in the next entrepreneur.
Now, my next question to you, Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, would be to ask you to quickly walk me through your normal day as an executive. How do you go about spending your day?
That's a funny question. How do you define normal? When you're an entrepreneur, there is nothing normal about your day.
Yeah.
You know, planning is always very important. That's how I always start. I'm usually up between 4:30 and 5 a.m. You always need that time, either the previous night or the very early in the morning to plan. So at that point, I'm planning my day. I'm looking at the things that I need to do. You always have a list that you always have to give reference to. Remember what I said earlier on, the principle is always to work within a frame. Always have a system that you fall back on. Once I'm done with school run, I'm usually in the office by 7:30. By 8, I'm having a brief with my team on what we're doing on that particular day, what we were doing the previous day. We look at very important things like customer feedback, because in a quality management system, we are saying we need to respond to feedback from clients within a very short space of time, 24, 48 hours. We respond to those things. And then after that, the day starts running. It's meetings, it's site visits, it's calls with clients. Usually lunch is at 3 p.m. We can never have lunch at a normal time between 1 or 2. Right now I'm having an interview with you and it's after 2 o'clock. Lunch is going to be at 4. And end of the day at around 5, there's always a planning meeting that happens at the office where our production guys are briefing our marketing guys and our logistics team, and everyone is pretty much just planning how we're going to execute deliveries tomorrow to our clients. After that, it's end of the day, I run other smaller businesses, so I'm also touching base with my other partners on other things that we're doing end of the day. Usually by 7 o'clock I'm at home. You do homework with the kids, get them out of the way. Time they sleep at 8, the entrepreneurship journey starts again. This is when you take time to now detox on what you've been doing in the day. Also take time to read. It's very important. Take time to read, find out what's happening around the world, what's happening next door, what's happening in the country. Get a book, something that opens your mind.
Viewers, we've come to the end of the second segment of our show. Please stay tuned. Viewers, welcome back to the third and final segment of today's show. Welcome back, Mr. Masimba. Now, Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, we have been discussing and talking to us about your business and how you normally spend your day.
Right.
Now, I would want you to take us through in terms of investment decisions. You have been talking about your company wanting to go regional. How do you tend to make some of these investment decisions as a company?
Yeah. So, our company is governed by a board of directors, chaired by a non-exec. We believe that for a business, when you're growing, always have outsiders who come and help you guide the decisions you do. Investment decisions for us will go through board committees. We go through innovation funnels. This is the step-by-step process of evaluating and looking at the opportunities that you can scale up your business. We evaluate, process, and look at every step of this opportunity. Remember, investments for any business are equally as risky. And what you try to do is to minimize the amount of risk. You also try to look at the opportunities that come. End of the day, the entity that you are looking at as an investment is a standalone entity. This is what we were told in O-level commerce. And that entity needs to benefit outside of the structure of the shareholders, outside of the structure of management or the board.
Thank you very much for that information. My next question then would focus on you as a leader. You work with a team.
Yes,
obviously,
correct.
you're going to have trusted lieutenants. How do you go about making decisions? What sort of information that you require before you have made a decision?
Always remember that when you work with a team, you work as a team, right? When we look at this different scenarios before decisions are made, I try to get as much input from my team. You see, the most effective team is a team that has a buy-in to say we are in agreement and we want to move in the same direction. This helps with the decision making as you go through the process and you go through every day and you're doing whatever you need to do. So how I work with my team is to try to be very open, allow them to also put input. I have a particular saying to my team: if you have a problem, when you bring it to me, make sure you have half a solution, right? So when you tell me your problem, tell me what your solution is. Show me the thought process of us to make this particular decision. This way the person you're dealing in your team also feels invested in how you do it. That way leading people becomes easier because you're moving in tandem, you move together. And the thing about being a leader that's also important is that you don't want to see the people you're leading in the same position forever. You want them to become leaders regardless of being in the same entity that you are, or if they move on to another entity. So you allow them to also become leaders. But your question was that saying, what information do you then look at? I try to simplify the way I look at certain things. Is the decision we're going to make as a team beneficial to the client? If it's beneficial to the customer, what information are we drawing from this? Is it going to help the deliverables? Is it going to help them budgetary-wise? Is it going to help solve the problem that they have? That is the most important information that you need to look for. And our quality QMS speaks to that. It answers a lot of these questions. Have we got enough feedback from the client? Have we got enough information from the market before we make that decision? This is what's also very, very important in entrepreneurship. Be driven by the feedback from the market. Be driven by what your customers say. Be driven by the solution you want and need to provide. By doing that, you find leadership easier to do.
Now, as we come to the end of the show, I would like you to talk to aspiring business people, young executives, and those that are already in business. What information, what advice, what words would you have for them?
Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And sometimes entrepreneurship is even hard for those who are actually natural entrepreneurs and they just don't know it. The most important thing is, once you strongly believe in this decision that you want to take or this journey that you want to go through, just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about failure. Failure is part of the process. If you don't fail, you don't learn, right? It's important for them out there to always remember that this is why you wake up. It's exciting to be an entrepreneur. It's exciting to provide solutions. But be focused, be principled. Don't fear asking if you need help. Mentorship is going to be very, very important. And I'm hoping that starting from now in our generation, we will help to mentor each other. But for new entrepreneurs, and even existing entrepreneurs, the ones who are already there, the ones who feel like they are struggling, continue with the journey. Believe in the process. Remember, listen to your customer and focus on the solution. Do not worry about the money. Some businesses get to a point where the customer is willing to say, take my money. And I like to use Apple as an example to say Apple is not a phone manufacturer. They're a lifestyle brand. They've designed the solution to a point where people are willing to pay whatever they just to get their hands on a particular project. And it started from the entrepreneurial journey, right? Where they understood the need for a solution to be provided. And once that solution was there, the market responded. So in closing, entrepreneurs need not to worry. Just get up, do, and just focus. And remember, the journey is going to be long, but do not worry. Do not be scared of the journey. This is the exciting part about it. Eventually you will get there.
Viewers, we've come to the end of our final segment of today's show, where we were talking to one of young executives and an entrepreneur, Mr. Masimba Marangwanda. Mr. Masimba Marangwanda, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you, Kembo. Thank you for having me. Viewers, thank you very much.
Viewers, I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Remember to subscribe and watch out for our next show.